Once upon a time, there lived a wealthy and influential king in a faraway kingdom. He had a very beautiful daughter named Nina. She was the apple of her parents' eyes, but she was proud and stubborn. As Nina grew older, suitors from near and far came to seek her hand in marriage, each hoping to win her affection. But Nina, with her heart set on a prince from a distant land, turned them down, longing for a love that would set her soul on fire. Then, one day, whispers began to spread throughout the kingdom about a mysterious stranger who had appeared in the marketplace. They said it was the most handsome man anyone had ever seen, with eyes as deep as the ocean, and a smile that could light up the darkest night. Nina went to the marketplace to see the stranger for herself, and when she laid eyes on him, she knew that the rumors were true. It was the prince she had been waiting for, the one who would sweep her off her feet and carry her away to a life of adventure. His name was Prince Akin, and he had traveled from a far-off kingdom in search of a bride. Instantly captivated by his charm, Nina invited him to the palace, eager to learn more about him. As they spent time together, Nina and Prince Akin fell deeply in love, their hearts entwined like vines in a lush garden. And when Prince Akin asked for Nina's hand in marriage, her parents, seeing the love that shone in their eyes, gave their blessings to the union. Filled with joy and excitement, Nina and Prince Akin spent 2 precious days in the palace, reveling in each other's company. But soon, the prince announced that it was time for them to return to his kingdom, a distant land across the sea. Though her parents urged her to stay, Nina's heart longed for adventure, and she resolved to accompany Prince Akin on his journey. With tearful farewells and promises to return, they set out together, leaving behind the comfort of home for the promise of a new life. Their journey was long and was filled with challenges and trials that tested their courage and determination. But through it all, Nina remained steadfast by Akin's side, her love unwavering and true. After walking for several days, Nina and her husband crossed the border between the spirit land and the human land. Immediately they set foot in the spirit land, strange things began to happen. One man came to the prince and demanded his legs, then another his head, and the next his body, until in a few minutes the prince was left with nothing but a skull. The princess became terrified. She could not understand what had happened to her handsome prince. The prince then laughed at the princess and confessed that the princess was now seeing him in his natural state. He had borrowed all his body parts from the other spirits so he would look human when he went to ask for her hand in marriage. In fact, his entire body consisted of only a human skull. The princess wanted to return home, but the skull would not allow this, and ordered her to go with him. When they arrived at the skull's house, they found his mother, who was a very old woman, quite incapable of doing any work. She could only creep around. Nina tried her best to help her. She cooked her food, brought water and firewood for the old woman. The old woman was very grateful for these attentions. and she became quite fond of Nina. One day, the old woman felt very sorry for Nina and decided to help her. She promised to send her back to her country as soon as possible, providing that she promised that in the future she would obey her parents. Nina readily consented to do so. Then the old woman sent for the spider, who was a very clever hairdresser, and made him dress Nina's hair in the latest fashion. She also presented her with anklets and other things on account of her kindness. She then used her supernatural power to call the breeze to carry Nina to her father's kingdom. Soon afterwards, the breeze deposited Nina outside her home and left her there. When she arrived home, the king and the queen were very glad, as they had for some months given her up as lost. There was feasting and dancing throughout the kingdom for 8 days and nights. Afterwards, the king passed a law that parents should never allow their daughters to marry strangers who came from a far country. After a few months, a prince from a neighboring village came to ask for Nina's hand in marriage, and she willingly consented and lived with him for many years and had many children. They built a life filled with love, laughter, and countless blessings.